is to pause and pray. If there's any step you take away, it's to pause and pray. In that moment of discovery, when you've just discovered a raunchy email, a dirty text, when you've just uncovered a video, some women uncover videos of their husbands with other women, those images are so hard to erase and to get rid of. So in that moment, your body is going to respond like you just got in a car accident. We've all probably experienced the adrenaline rush when we have to slam on our brakes because we're about to run into someone's back end, right? That physical adrenaline rush, it is a medical condition. It is your body going into shock, right? So when you've just discovered a raunchy situation in your marriage, or when someone just confessed to you, your body is going to be in shock. You cannot think and make a decision past that point. So the number one thing is to pause and pray. Do not make any harsh decisions. I know so many women who've caused greater problems than just the one main problem because they did not do this one step. Psalms 147:3 says, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. So, some other practical steps. Don't have dirty catalogs laying on the counter after you get the mail. Okay, Victoria's Secret, this took years to finally stop them coming to our house. And one thing that we do now is I am the mail person. So I get the mail, I filter any junk mail, and I only bring in what is real stuff, which is unfortunately just bills. I gotta love that. So if there's anything in the mailbox that is not wholesome, just trash it before it goes in the house. Come up with one person that gets the mail. Filter your TV shows, movies, and add any filtering programs to all devices if necessary. You know, we live in a day and age where there's technology. So you have a ton of apps and filtering programs to use. We use one on Tim's phone that filters all of our TV shows and all of his movies that we watch so that we can see exactly, like, this is where, a dirty scene is, or, why is it PG-13? Well, this is why, and at this scene, at this time in this movie, this is what happens. So we know to skip it or fast forward or just to not watch it. So there's no excuse to be surprised by a scene and, what's on your TV. Add accountability programs that shut off devices with just one person responsible for all passwords. Covenant Eyes does this. Seek out accountability people that the wounding spouse can contact daily and weekly. So this actually goes both ways. So the person who is the offender, who has the sexual addiction or who had the affair, they absolutely need to have accountability in their lives. There's a ton of different ways, but I want to focus on the wounded spouse. We also need to have accountability. I needed accountability in my life so that I wasn't going to be stuck in my bitterness and resentment. I needed people to say, whoa, Steph, that attitude is so sour, you stink. I needed people to say, you know what, I haven't seen you in the Word. So come up with some accountability. Surround yourself with a prayer team. People who will lift you up and encourage you. If you are choosing restoration, do not choose somebody to come alongside you that is going to be like, once a cheater, always a cheater. That's not a good accountability person. This next one, create boundaries. If we were to talk about boundaries, we could probably stick on this topic for a good month. This is one where the codependent in me had 0 boundaries. So I want to walk you through level 1, 2, and 3. So together agree on consequences if the addiction becomes present again. This is just an example. You have to apply these level 1, 2, and 3 to your situation. I would recommend having guidance, having some counsel, create these steps 1, 2, and 3 because you also need your accountability on both sides to hold you accountable to following through with this boundary. So level 1, what does that look like? Well, if pornography is viewed on the phone privileges are removed for 2 weeks and no sexual contact is made for a week. The reason why I state no sexual contact is because the heart's just been crushed again. So you can't, for men, obviously their language is love language, right? Most men, or physical touch. There was a good example of this, of why this is important. There was a couple who, multiple affairs, he was an alcoholic, he was abusive, and he did have a pornography addiction. Both of their languages were physical touch. So he was asked to leave the home. They were separated for just 3 blissful days. They got back together. They had a week-long honeymoon, and then they fell right back into the patterns, old habits. There was no consequence, there was no boundary, there's no follow-through or accountability. So you may need to say there's no sexual contact. if something like that happens. Okay, so level 2, if a spouse masturbates, there's no sexual contact for 2 weeks. Accountability partners must be informed and devices removed or allowed only during work hours. Sometimes you can't say you're stripped of your phone privileges for 2 full weeks because whatever job your spouse may be on is going to need a phone. So if it's a work hours, then yes, he can have the phone during work hours. So that would be a level 2 consequence. A level 3, if sexual contact made outside of the marriage, there's no sexual contact for 3 weeks, separation goes in effect, accountability partners contacted, and there's a potential for divorce. So that's just an idea of what some boundaries may look like if you stumble into a discovery or confession of addiction or an affair.